everybody, welcome to this week's math lesson. We are on Chapter 8, Lesson 4, which is on page 604 in your book. So have that ready, but right now we're first going to look at a really short slideshow. The thing that we're learning, and let's see if I can turn on the laser pointer. Laser pointer, oh yeah. So we're Chapter 8, Lesson 4, the thing we're doing is representing functions. This is something that you've already done, but they're just making sure you understand the three different ways. And let's see what the next slide says. So you can represent a function as an equation, a table, and a graph. So an equation is something just like y equals x plus 3, right? That would be an equation because that has an equal sign in it. A table, you've seen that with the box and the lines, and you have if x is 1, y is 3, if x is 2, y is whatever. And then a graph, you've seen that where you just basically are graphing the table. Now here we have an equation. It's going to explain that. So here's our problem. Wendy makes 3 times as much money as Bill. So how would you write that as an equation? Well, we know that Wendy equals 3 times Bill. So whatever Bill makes, Wendy's 3 times bigger. So the way you would write that as equation is W for Wendy equals 3B. So this is the same as this. Wendy equals 3 times Bill. Got it? So that's how you do it as an equation. That's easy, right? You could do that. So let's look at the same thing as a table. Here's the same problem. Wendy makes 3 times as much money as Bill, and the same equation, W equals 3B, but now we have it as a table. So for the B's, for Bill, that's unknown, right? So it's a independent variable. So if B is 1, Wendy would be 3 times that. So 1 times 3 is 3. Bill is 2, 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. And if it's 0, 0 times 0 is still 0. So now you know how to do it with an equation and a table. And you already knew this. We're just reminding you. And the last reminder is the graph. So here's the same thing we had, right? W equals 3B. B is like X, and W is in the Y column, right? So the X column, Y column. So I'm just graphing these coordinates. So if I do 1, 3, I go over to 1 and up to 3, and there's a dot. 2 and 6, I go over to 2, up to 6, and there's a dot. 3, 9, I go over to 3, which is in the middle here, and all the way up to 9, which is there. And then 0, 0, which is right here. So these are the 3 ways you can represent a function: as an equation here, a table here, and a graph here. And that's pretty much what your homework is going to be. So now let's go check it out in the book. Okay, so here we are on page 604, and let's just look at a couple equations. First, we're going to just look at some examples of equations. So it says the drama club's holding a bake sale. They charge $5 for each pie they sell. Write an equation to find the total amount for earned T for selling P pies. So the total equals 5 times the number of pies sold, because it's $5 times the number of pies. So T represents the total earned, and P represents the number of pies. So T equals 5 times P, or T equals 5P. Easy, right? I think you can do this pretty easy. So let's do down here, let's do the got it thing. Letter A, a mouse can travel 8 miles per hour. That means 8 miles for every 1 hour. Write an equation to find the total distance D a mouse can travel in H hours. Got it? So pause the video and you're going to write D equals something. Ready, go. All right, cool. So you should have D equals, and it's just times 8, and it's H hours, so 8H. Easy peasy, right? Okay, let's try this other one. Samantha can make 36 cookies each hour. Write an equation to find the total number of cookies C that she can make in each hour. So it's going to be C equals something H. Pause and see if you can figure it out. All right, so you see that she can make 36 cookies each hour, so it's going to be 36H, right? So if it was 1 hour, she'd make 36 cookies. If it's 2 hours, it would be, what, 72 cookies, and if it was 10 hours, it would be 360 cookies, right? Cool. All right, let's go look at the next page. All right, so actually I skipped all the way to page 606, so we're on page 606 right now. So go to that page if you're not already there, and we're going to do just the last two little things here, and then we'll go to the guided practice. So we did how to make a function into an equation. Now we've got the table and the graph, right? So here's a table, here's a graph. So here we have, it says, while in normal flight, a bald eagle flies an average speed of 30 miles per hour. 30 miles per hour, right? So that's pretty fast. An eagle flies 30 miles an hour. So it says, write an equation and make a function table to show the relationship between total distance d that an eagle can travel in 8 hours. Now you look at this and you think, whoa, that sounds like complicated mathy stuff. But it's not. So equation, you know how to do that. He flies 30 miles per hour. That means in 1 hour, right? So we could say d for distance, because we want to know the total, it's asked for total distance. So we'll say d, it's a bad d, equals, and you pause the video and see if you can figure it out. Okay, so you should have d equals 30 times h, right? Because however many hours, it's times 30. So in 1 hour, he flies 30 miles. In 2 hours, it's 60, and so on and so forth. And for letter D, we now have to, and then we also have to make a graph of that, right? So we know that it's going to be times 30. So for hours, let's make it easy. Let's just do 1, 2, and 3. So if the hours, if h is 1, 1 times 30 is 30. If you can fill out this table before I do, that's really good. I'll do it in slow motion. 2 times 30 is 60, and 3 times 30 is 90. So that's part 2, turning this function into an equation and now into a table, and now we're going to graph these numbers. So notice here it goes by ones, and up here it goes by tens. So this is like the x and that's the y. So if I go to time, hours, I go to 1 and then up to 30, put a dot. For 2, I go up to 60. Our next one is 3 and 90. 3 and 90. I notice my dots are in a straight line. I draw a line connecting them. And notice my line, it doesn't just go dot, dot, dot. It actually is supposed to extend beyond it. If I was a good teacher, I'd actually use a ruler for this, but, there you go. And that's pretty much all we have to do. So let's look at the guided practice now. So why don't you try to do the guided practice? It's pretty much just like what we did. They give you a problem, write an equation, do a function table, do a graph. See if you can do that. And if you can do that, you're awesome. So pause the video and do that, and then I will go over it with you. Pause this video and try the guided practice on your own. I said pause this video and try the guided practice on your own. Yeah. All right, so let's see what we did here. For the guided practice, you should have school cafeteria sells lunch passes that will allow students to purchase any number of lunches in advance for $3 per lunch, right? So we're looking to find t, so that's why we do t equals, and it's 3 times the number of lunches, so 3 times n. Easy, right? Now for the function table, for n, let's choose really easy numbers. We'll do 1, 2, and 3, and so you just do times 3. So 1 times 3 is 3, 6, 9, right? And then for your numbers, you're just going to graph these numbers. So you're going to go over to 1 and up to 3 and put a dot. Over to 6 and, over to 2 and up to 6. And then over to 3 and up to 9. And again, they're in a nice straight line. Connect the dots. And that's it. Wow.